I've written some of this down, so I won't, do as bad as the last time. But I got a little bit more before the toast. And some of this is sort of for all of us to be aware of. And I just want to let you know that today we have among us the largest gathering of Ohio Bobcats at Lake Tahoe. Nick and Molly, as you know, are graduates of Ohio University. And therefore Bobcats. Now Bobcats, listen to this now, Bobcats can be kind of feisty, unruly, and well, pretty much all the time annoying. But that doesn't apply to Molly or Nick.
Just the rest of us.
But Bobcats, according to Wikipedia, like an open area. They don't like to be confined like this. So be careful on the dance floor. But I have another alert. Besides the Bobcats, we have a lot of Ohio Buckeyes here. I don't know if people outside Ohio might not realize that, but there's kind of bad blood between the Bobcats and the Buckeyes. And you don't want to get in between. And this goes back when Rufus Bobcat, an Ohio State football game, roughed up Brutus. He did it pretty bad. In front of 100,000 people.
Those are awesome.
But I mean, what do you expect? You know, the Bobcat had claws, teeth. What does the Buckeye have? I mean, it's kind of... We're going to win that one. Besides the Bobcats and the Buckeyes, from Nick's hometown, we've got Bearcats sitting out there. Any Bearcats? Yep. Mom and Dad, Bearcats. Eric, my son, a Bearcat. That's right, and they can be fierce. So you got to watch them. So I wanted you to identify these people. A Bearcat. Yeah. Who's from Cincinnati here, Eric? It's a Bearcat. Nick? Yeah. There you go. And then there's one last group that you guys have to watch out for in the dance floor. And this is a group from Molly's hometown, the University of Akron Zips. Anybody Zips out there? My brother, Tom. And their mascot is Zippy the kangaroo. So all I'm saying is you got to be aware. You're going to have Bobcats prowling, Bearcats prowling, Buckeyes dropping from the trees. What's the other school? Wildcats. So anyways, just the warning. Now I want to say something about Mount Holly. It's more than anything like that. First of all, I want to say that I'm proud and honored to have Nick as a son-in-law. I hope the family is proud of having it there. But I have to say, I got to be honest about this. I didn't think this way right off the bat. Molly had told me that Nick was handsome, smart, athletic, and a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan. Well, the Pacennas are from Northern Ohio, and we're Browns fans. Yeah! Right away, I was kind of skeptical of Nick. And then he was telling me when he was in New Zealand, he was getting up at 3 o'clock every Sunday, or whatever day it was, to watch the Bengals on internet TV, 3 a.m. in the morning. So I started being a little bit concerned about intelligence, things like that, but I kind of let that go. You know, I ran on the next thing.
People love stories.
And then there was the next incident, and this was at the annual Placenta Thanksgiving Day touch football game. Going up for a pass, Nick pretty much flattened. You know, and I was kind of wondering, I kind of felt an extra elbow. But what really bothered me, and this is true, my son-in-law from 2 years earlier, this guy right here, did the same thing. So I said, maybe this is just not Nick. You know, it's maybe the kind of male, what do they call it? Alpha dog thing, you know? So let's have it.
Yes.
The hardest thing, though, was it happened when you guys were coming back from the long bike ride, that amazing bike ride, and you were in Oregon. So we were going to a restaurant, and Oregon has all these fancy berries. So we go with this amazing pie. Molly couldn't finish her pie. I mean, Marionberry pie. And normally I always got the pie. I said, Dad, I got the pie. I'm sitting there kind of eyeing this pie. He hands it over to Nick. Right around.
Anybody else want?
And I knew things were changing fast. I had to work through those transgressions. You know? And one of the things that really made me get through that was Nick's family. He's got a great family. Love families. The first thing I learned about his family is if there's more than 2 Durs and you're going out for dinner, if there is a brew pub that has food anywhere within 35 miles, you're probably going to go to that. Nick's dad Ray and Brett came all the way. They drove a rented SUV all the way from Ohio to be there when Nick and Molly finished their bike ride in Portland, Oregon. And talking to Nick, I find one of the main reasons was he was trying to get his flat TV screen across, and it was hard to ship. And you know what? I bet he's going to watch more Bengals games. You know, I had to go through that.
True.
But Ray and Brett were there right at the finish. Well, they weren't exactly there at the finish. They were a little bit late. And, you know, Brett says, well, we were out a little late, Dad and I, and sorry about that. They said, no problem, you know. You can tell they really enjoyed each other, and they just loved each other, you know. It was just great to see. I've seen a lot of creativity in Nick's family, which really impresses me. This was after you guys came in on the bike, and Brett was there, of course, and Ray. So we went to dinner, and after dinner we went down to the ocean to take some pictures. So everybody's taking pictures, and I said, well, let me take a picture of you guys, you know, the Durs. So they said, yeah, that's a great idea. And then they said, Nick says, hey, let's spell out Dur. You know, so I'm taking a picture, and Nick does this great D, you know. And then his dad goes like this, an I. And then Brett did a pretty clever one. He goes R, like this. And then they realized there was another R in Dur. It wasn't here. You know, and all of a sudden, Nick goes, man, and he converted from a D to a D and an I. So he goes like this. And then his 2 brothers do the R, you know, like this. This is great. These guys are good, you know. Story? Teamwork and everything, you know. But I got to meet Pam, his mom, too. And it was really nice meeting her because I saw, you know, a whole different side of the Dur family. And, you know that it must have taken a firm but loving hand. And that includes Ray. But a great example of this was that Pam only asked Nick for 2 things for the wedding. I mean, there was, you know, lots of things you could ask. And the 2 things was, Nick, would you wear shoes? Would you wear sandals? And then she said, Nick, would you mention God at least once? And you know, they did both of those things, you know. You honored your mother's request. I love it. I kind of knew that he, you know, the shoes he would wear, I thought that would happen. And then my son said, you know, Dad, I think that, I'm pretty sure Nick would mention God at least once, probably by saying something like, God, I'll be glad when this is over. Now, on to Molly. This is a few things about Molly. I kind of waited till the knot was tied, so to speak, before I went to the Molly was a wonderful daughter. Daughter. Yeah. Very intelligent, smart, active, loving, all that kind of thing. But, you know, I think Amy and I spoiled her a little bit, you know, and she got pretty much all she asked for because she was the youngest and that kind of thing. But when she didn't get what she wanted, she had a little routine that she went through, and I'm concerned that you might see this at some point. And it was when she didn't get what she wanted, you know. So she would come in and ask for it, and we said no. And the kind of things that she had to have, she would desperately have to have, was like another Cabbage Patch doll. After her and Katie had like about 25 of these things. And I don't know if you've seen Cabbage Patch dolls, they're pretty ugly looking little. Or she wouldn't be able to go to dinner, you know, she didn't want to eat the food. And dinner to her was McDonald's French fries, the vegetable was ketchup, and the fruit was like Skittles, right? You know? If you didn't get that, it wasn't going to happen.
What a junk fan.
So anyways, Molly would come in the kitchen, plead her case one more time. It didn't happen. She started to cry and cry some more. The volume continued to rise. And if that didn't work to get our attention, she would perform what we called the nosedive. The new bright scene by my brother Tom, years and years ago. She would let one loud last cry out, stiffen up like a board and start falling towards the floor. Not putting her hands out until the very last second. She hit the floor with a loud whack, and it appeared that she had hit the floor hard with her entire body, full on. After a brief pause, if you didn't get over there, she started crying some more. But now sounding like a wounded animal crying for help. It was very dramatic and very impressive, and I knew then the seeds of her success in acting and drama were first sown. My advice to you would be, if you see this behavior brewing, number one, don't call me. And try not to pay much attention to her as the intensity builds. When you see her, you look over, she's ready to start to fall, and she starts the movement to the floor. Yell out as loud as you can, "Timber!" And just keep doing what you're doing. No, all kidding aside, I really do think Nick and Molly are two, and this is kind of getting into the toast part. Kidding aside, I really do think Nick and Molly are two impressive and amazing young people and make an even greater couple. I think Nick and Molly will make great lifelong partners for each other, as we all do. They're so much full of fun adventure. They've already been through so much together, like 4 Ohio University's Halloween celebrations, without getting arrested or maced. They have survived a long-distance relationship over the 7,229 miles that separates Swaziland and New Zealand. And then they've had a very close relationship over 3,000 miles of riding a bike, sleeping in tents, eating Spam, you know, in a little dish that you couldn't find. And, you know, how are you going to find a partner that does that and likes it, you know? So just a few more things. They've been to so many places together, visited foreign countries like Peru, Tonga, Thailand, Mozambique, South Africa, and lived together at even stranger places like Brooklyn, Manhattan. As I walked Molly down the aisle today, I left her standing with Nick. I felt emotional, but so much more confident and at peace that with Nick she was going to be safe and happy. So much more so than about 5 years ago when she left for 2 years in the Peace Corps in Swaziland. I was really worried then because all I knew was my brother-in-law, John Awad Wilson, had gone to the Peace Corps, and frankly, as you might see if you talk to him tonight, he hasn't turned out that well. I'm only joking. I want to end by saying I'm so happy for Nick and Molly, and I'm excited to be able to see what their future together will be, because I think it will be fantastic. We all know this is a special couple, a couple that brings joy and happiness and love and hope and laughs to all of us. Yeah. Again, congratulations to the Super Duper couple and the Super Duper wedding. Cheers! Cheers!
Not really.